Hello, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yay.
How we doing?
Not bad. How are you?
Good.
Good. Look at that. 4 people on video. That's 100% if I know math pretty well. And I think I do. That's 100%. That makes me excited. Let's see if Nick will join with video.
He seems to be hit or miss.
Yeah. We'll see. We're going to give him just a minute. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah?
Good.
Cool. Yeah, Nick. We lost Joe. We're going for up there. We're at 100% eyeball to eyeball Zoom call. How's everyone doing? Let's answer a question and then I'm sure we can get going. I don't really have anything planned. Joe Shaw, how do I get paid when I close real estate deals? EXP is pretty good about getting you what's called a disbursement agreement or a split check DA. So split check DA, remember who the broker is, right? EXP is the broker. They're the one who actually gets paid at the closing table. So in order to get your money from the closing company, the title company, EXP needs to give you permission to receive your funds in your name, and they will do that. Title companies will split checks, 3 different ways or 4 different ways. Oftentimes it's 2 different ways. You get a portion goes to your broker and a portion goes to the agent. So as long as your file is complete, EXP actually sends the DA directly to the title company. A few things that I'd like to notate. So you should get paid the day of closing. Now, I have not been attending closings like I used to. I used to always go to closings. Right now, I've been going to walkthroughs with my buyers and then not going to closings just because whatever, like it's coronavirus. I already did the walkthrough. I'm not that important at the closing table. You're not sitting there, if you haven't been to a closing, you're not sitting there answering all the questions. They've already seen the paperwork. Really, it's the lender who has all these different fees and escrows and things on there that they should have been asked the lender. And it's very few times that I'm chiming in, or I'm just chiming in for like my own fun, my own good, right? I'm doing it for relationship building, right? And so hopefully, so anyway, but when you have the DA, it gets sent from EXP directly to the closer. That's why you put that in SkySlope. Then I would encourage you to follow up with an email to the closer and say, probably like the day before, the day of, before they're going to be cutting checks. And even though all the information is there on the DA, but this is specific to EXP. On the day of closing, would you be so kind as to send me the closing statement, a copy of my check, and a copy of my broker's check? That's what EXP wants. And then I say, after that, I say, and then that will allow me to close the file the day of, which is what EXP wants. Okay. Now, it's not typical that they're sending out copies of checks. Usually they're overnighting checks. It's fine. They'll be there tomorrow. Usually they send the broker's check, off to wherever it's going, Charlotte or whatever it is. And they don't make a copy for you. So it's like pulling teeth to get them to do it the right way. Now, of course, the title companies that I use, they get it now. They understand what I want. And so as soon as we close, they know, send all that stuff right over and I can throw it in SkySlope. So that's your answer. But the truth of the matter is, as an agent, if you have a split check DA, you should be getting closed at the same time funding happens, right? So funding is the title company has the money from the lender, they have the money from the buyer, they have everything's been signed and done, and now they're funding. They're going to send money to the seller, they're going to pay the taxes, they're going to pay the realtors, they're going to pay everybody on there, and that's funding. And that's really when your buyers are supposed to receive their keys to the house. Okay, so usually that's done within hours after your buyer signs. So there's always exceptions to every rule, but and that's why you really want to avoid. Here's what I would say: if it's so natural to like take a buyer and say, well, why don't we just close on the 30th? Why don't we just close on Friday, the last Friday of the month? Try to avoid that as much as possible, guys. Like, I don't care if people have to take off work. Stop trying to accommodate them. All you're doing is you're setting yourself up for heartache, because if there's a delay of any sort, and your buyer might be able to sign on Friday at 3 o'clock, but if it doesn't fund by 5 o'clock and the lender's not going to send funds, or the title company, they're going to go home, your buyer, the seller can hold the keys until they get their money. So your buyer has their movers all ready, they're ready to go, and they're going to show up on Saturday morning. It's all bought and paid for, everything's packed, we don't have beds to sleep in, whatever it is, right? And since you want to close on a Friday in the afternoon because that's what that was their idea, and you didn't push back on them, now your buyer doesn't have a house for the weekend, and you're saying, hey, why don't you be a guest in my house? That would be nice, wouldn't it? So yeah, don't do that. So did all that stuff make sense about closing?
It does. I guess
Tuesdays.
my question that still comes with that is, in my case, because I'm closing in Clearwater, which is 35 miles away, and that's where the title company is. Do I just contact them, have them mail me the check?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, if it was in Clearwater and I was closing that, if I was going to go and attend closing with my buyer, like hopefully I would try to make sure that the seller has already signed, and that I would probably try to hang out in Clearwater like for an hour while the buyer signed. Okay, we're just waiting on the lender to fund. Like, if you just hang out for like an hour, a lot of times they'll call you, be like, hey, I live in Hillsborough County, would you just call me? I'm going to go to lunch, hopefully my check is ready, and they should have a pretty good idea. And they're like, oh yeah, we have the buyer's wire, we're just waiting on the final approval from the lender, I just got to scan these docs over to them, we should have that within an hour at the most. And that's usually what happens.
So in
Or
this case, I'm not allowed to attend it.
they will overnight it to you. They like
Okay.
FedEx overnight it to you for like $8. So
Okay.
it'll show up at your house. So.
You see, I'm not allowed to attend the closing.
No.
COVID.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That is happening. That's up to the title companies. So cool. Any other questions about closing? Pretty simple. People like, I want one. I need that in my life. Yeah. Cool. What else? How was everybody's Thanksgiving? Anything good? Anything bad? Get in a fight with your family?
Caught a bunch of fish.
Thanks. Oh, there you go.
All of it? Yeah. I went to a good friend of ours' wedding out on Indian Rocks Beach. That was a ton of fun. Had a great time. Very fun.
I think I told you, not we as in my wife and I, but we as in my best friend, his wife, and us almost were involved in having a baby on Thanksgiving Day. So we actually ended up not doing a whole lot of anything.
Oh, wow. Wow. Your best friend and his wife almost had a baby? Was this at your house?
No, at their house. They're due the 14th. And I have no kids of my own, so I've never been around pregnant women. So I didn't know that labor could stop and start, because in the movies, and once they start labor, just it goes. I had no idea. But so we get over there, and it's like 2:00 in the afternoon, and Joe, my buddy's name is Joe also, and he's completely sober. What the hell's going on? He goes, I think Gabriel's having the baby today. Like, oh, it's like that. So, we had a little bit of food, and then spent a couple hours walking there because they live in a gated community, walking trying to walk the baby out.
Oh, geez.
Well, she's having contractions, and then it ended up stopping.
So, yeah. That's crazy. So, but no baby, huh?
Not yet.
Not yet, huh? Okay. Well, cool. Very good. Anybody else? Anything good?
My Thanksgiving was good, yes.
It was good? Cool.
Yep.
Adriana? You're working?
Mute.
Dang mute button.
That was fun.
Yeah, I'm working from home today. My Thanksgiving was good. My dad came over. Tried to kind of keep his spirits up because my mom passed last year.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, drinking some beers and playing some cornhole. At
Cool.
82, he kicked some ass for some cornhole.
Who did? He did?
My dad, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Very fun. Very cool. Um, well, I don't know what you guys want to jump into. I can just talk if you want, but like
I
I
got
just want you to know that like when I put stuff on workplace in our group, like I said that thing. I did something yesterday about a land offer that I got, and then I did something about that that Christmas card we're sending out. I'm just trying to I just want you to know this is not about me. I just feel like the easiest way to share how I've grown and become successful is to like involve you in these things as they happen, right? Like just try to take you through it during my year because it's not all laid out. I didn't write a book or anything like that. So anyway, that's just what I want you to understand. And a lot of this stuff, like I heard when I was in training in 2012 and 2013, I heard people say, well, you got to sell to your friends. Well, who's your dentist? Well, who's your doctor? Well, who puts the oil in your car? All those people should be your clients. Like I heard it all. It just didn't resonate with me. It didn't like make a lot of sense. And so I went out and I had to form relationships with strangers and all those things. So anyway, when we're talking about the hairdresser or if I'm doing a Christmas card, like all these things, they've grown, but I still think that you guys can do them on a small level. And it really comes down to like I think over time you kind of train yourself, right? So my people are very nice to us when we have a baby because my wife she brings people food when they have kids and she's very supportive. So there was a woman that we don't even know, my wife doesn't even know her, but she somehow saw the link on Facebook and she brought us like a meal. She brought us a meal, she brought us desserts, she brought us diapers, all this stuff. And she's like, oh yeah, I used to live in Australia and they used to do all this anyway. My point is, like, we don't know this woman at all, but like, can you believe that she's going to be in my mailing database from this day forward? Heck yeah, she's been to my house, she's kind. Her and my wife have a connection now. Like, so it's just I've been trained over the years to like and she does not have an immediate real estate need. They probably moved here 6 months ago. They bought a house, not from us. We don't know them. But at some point, she's going to know somebody or she's going to need to sell her house and all this stuff. And so that person, that's just another database ad. So we have to, we look them up on search records. We don't ask them for their address. We look them up in Hillsborough County records and we'll just start mailing to them. And then it's just, once you're in people's houses, like if my wife doesn't go to another MOPS, it's a mom's group, like until like next year, like September, maybe if the vaccine's out and she feels comfortable and all that stuff, like that's a real possibility. But we're going to be on these people's refrigerator, at least in their mailbox, for the next 8 or 9 months. So that connection doesn't get lost, even if they don't have a lot of conversations, because we're there and we're a constant reminder. And it just anyway, it just fosters and builds the relationship. So I've done that with Send Stations. That's the program that I use. It's about $1 note card. I know you guys don't have these huge databases right now, but just something to think about. Or start small and think about, make a commitment and say, well, I'm going to start getting that database together. But even if it's 4 people, I'm going to start mailing. I'm going to do a quarterly mailer, right? And I'm going to start dripping on these people because each one of those people that you start mailing to, they should be worth a referral to you. They really should. If you do a good job, they should send you one piece of business. So anyway.
Do you have a, I know it's out there because I heard about it with the previous brokerage and I cannot think of what it was called, where you pay them and then like your people like Courtney, for instance, after we close next week, tomorrow 10 a.m. Outstanding. Yes, I have a showing with my cash buyer tomorrow. Anyway, you pay them and then they can kind of keep up with them after that. They're send them stuff every so often. And do you know what company that is?
I don't.
I'll find out. Okay.
Like after closing, they do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do a 1-year anniversary and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yep.
I've heard of programs like that.
And they
Yeah.
keep up with it for 5 years. It's like $25 or $50 for 5 years worth of shit.
Is it
Excuse
really?
me.
Yeah.
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 I'll find
Yeah,
out
that's
what
a
it
good
was.
idea. That's a good idea. Yep. Yep. That's a good idea. And there's going to be people that are not your past clients that you're also going to want to mail to. So that
Yep.
wouldn't be it wouldn't work for everybody, right? It works for just people that have closed with you. So cool.
I got a
What else?
question.
Yeah.
All right. So there I was at work, bartending, and they were my customers were like, hey, why don't you go for the food and beverage director position? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm not trying to do that. I just want to stay at the Bahama Bar. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll tell you guys too. I'm like, I have my license now. And obviously they have a few drinks in them, but these boys come and spend $200 a day on their parents' tab. They're from Chicago and they just have money to blow. And they're like, oh, I'll buy a house from you. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure. And then they're like, can you sell my house in Chicago too? And I was like, I don't know. I'm
Yes.
not licensed up there. But then I thought about it later. I can, because EXP is everywhere. So if I could get that in the door first, then they could be like, wow, look, Laura set this up. Look, we'll get this going here. The boy has lived down here for 7 months because of COVID at his parents' house. He doesn't know anyone. He doesn't go anywhere else besides our country club at all. Like,
Seriously.
both of them
Wow.
come and drink every day. Every day, $200 tab every day. Don't care.
Oh my God.
And then they'll go to
Wow.
dinner and spend $500, their whole family.
Jeez.
And then his
Okay.
brother goes, I'll be your second buyer because once Nicholas buys a house, then I'll buy a house. And one of them's in the NSA and the other guy, like he's going to go do marketing for the campaign in Georgia. They're high profile kids, but they're like higher. They're like high 28s, probably 26, 27, 28. And they have a 3-story condo they need to sell in Chicago. So I guess my next thing would be get information from them and be like, yeah, I can help you. I can refer you to somebody that can sell your house for you while you stay here.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. However they, you don't, the good news is you don't have to be involved in all the intricacies of how and what, and if they fly up there. No. Your referral is worth 25% of the commission to whatever they negotiate. So it doesn't, and it does not have to be an EXP agent. It can be anybody that's licensed. My buyer that closed with me last week. So first of all, the mom is an admin for a Keller Williams team in Utah. We got the referral for her daughter. She got 25% of that deal. Her daughter moved to Fishhawk in August. Now it's the mom's turn. They sold their house in Utah. She's going to work remotely. She's going to stay. So she's licensed in Utah. And I told her straight up, they didn't ask. They probably expected it. But anyway, I told her and her husband, I said, before they could even ask me, I said, I am paying you a 25% referral fee on your own house, right? So, and I pay that to the broker in Utah, right, from the Florida transaction. So, and then during the walkthrough, I said, Johanna, I said, as long as you stay licensed in Utah or in any state, I said, please send me referrals. I will pay you 25% on any single referral you send me, like neighbors, friends, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. And so you train people on I would love to pay 25% for a lead I don't have to chase and all that stuff. So those are good things. So so really when I get stuff like this, if this is real, I would feel it out a little bit, right? I would get their address. find out if they're like truly motivated or if they're just blowing smoke, because there's a couple red flags there. But like, because you're gonna involve, and then what I say is, I have a network of agents all over the country. What I've offered to do for other people is I'll do 3 or 4 interviews for you, and I'll find the best agent or agents, and you can interview them as well if you like. But I'll find the person that works best for your personality, and we'll, we can set it up for you, and it can be that easy. So that's kind of how I say it. It doesn't necessarily have to be an EXP agent. So there's all sorts of Facebook groups out there. Lab Coat Agent Referrals is a huge one. EXP workplace, absolutely. You could hit up on workplace.
There's a referral group on Workplace.
Yep, there's referral groups on Workplace. Yep. So yeah.
Sweet.
Probably a
Thank
nice
you.
piece of business. Like it, and if it's a luxury listing, then you got to vet that a bit and make sure you're going to a luxury agent up there, somebody that's at least,
Yeah. For down here, they're saying they're looking to buy somewhere in like March, and they're looking at Azario, because I work in Lakewood Ranch for my bartending gig.
Where
So
do
I
they
work
want
at
to
the
live?
Esplanade. Azario.
Esplanade?
It's the new. Yes, it's the new one. It's where most of my staff went to go, but I don't want to go there because there's not enough people in the neighborhood to bring business yet. It's not built up
Yeah.
enough yet. But it's
Yeah.
it's
Are they
like
going to buy
Lakewood
new
National.
construction?
Probably.
Yeah. Good. Well, stay on top of that, because you're going to get 3% if all they have to do is put you down with the builder. You do almost nothing, to be honest with you, which is a horrible way to learn how to do real estate, but
Who
puts money in your
cares?
pocket.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So yeah, just stay there. I'm trying to think of what advice I could give you. If you can find some kind of way to, and I don't know what the rules of your job are, but if you can find some kind of way to do something social with them off work property, so they can see you not in your bartending gear and all this stuff, and then you can just kind of have a bit of relationship outside of just being their bartender, I think you would have a greater chance to close that business. So but that's just,
I can work on that.
yeah.
Okay.
Shit. Set up a fishing charter. Let's all go fishing.
Let's all go fishing.
A little expensive, but like, whoa, if you knew it was going to happen, heck yeah, let's all go fishing. Give me 2 new construction houses in the $700,000 to $800,000 range, right? Probably about what that is.
Anything.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, absolutely. Keep your ears open for referrals. Yeah. So cool.
Doug, have you used that property boost thing that I did before?
No. I don't know. Are you talking about from KV Core?
Yeah.
And did you pay money?
Yes.
You did. Okay. Then no. The only thing I paid money for marketing through KV Core was I did making it rain for a little while. And so that was fine, but I didn't do anything like where you just boost, one property. So Joe, take us through that, because you got a cash buyer lead from that.
I did, and I actually had a couple other things from it too. So if you read the fine print in our agreements, you can't advertise somebody else's property on Facebook or somewhere else unless you're the listing agent or you have their permission. So
Sure.
The hardest part of this whole thing was to find somebody that would actually answer me and allow me to, advertise their property, which seems really stupid to me, but whatever. So I finally found somebody that would allow me to do it. And I picked a house here in the neighborhood that had just gone on the market. It was $260,000. So it was, right in the middle of everything. And you take the MLS number into KV Core for the property boost feature. You give them the MLS number, and then you tell them how long you want to do it for. In this neighborhood, houses are on the market for 5 days or less. So I ran it for 3. It was $45 for the 3 days. So I ran it Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday, and then the following Saturday. So 3 days I did it because I figured people would be looking. I ended up with 10 leads out of it, one of them being a legit cash buyer who I have another showing with this afternoon. We actually just lost out on a property in Brandon to another cash offer. So I'm going to go with it with a cash offer.
You wrote an offer after the first set of showings, right? Yep.
And we ended up losing out on that one. And then I have another showing with him this afternoon at 4. And then I have another lady that I'm supposed to meet with later this week who is legitimately looking actually in my neighborhood. So that'll be an easy one if I can make that.
Wow. Like that's a lot. That's a lot from a $45 spend. So what is it using? Google AdWords? Is it using Facebook? What is it doing?
Yes, all of the above.
All of the above?
I don't know where they listed it. I don't know. Yeah, I honestly don't know where they listed it. I just know that I used that thing in KV Core, and it, I got 10 total leads from it, and 2 of them panned out.
Wow. Good for you. Damn. That's a crazy conversion. Like, also $45 for 3 days worth of advertising online is fairly expensive, but you're right. So you took one that was just new on the market. It's going to go pending in 3 to 5 days anyway, is what you're saying. And so this is really your only opportunity, whether it's your listing or not, doesn't matter. This is really your only opportunity to market something like that. It's in your neighborhood. Cool. And then, so you put it out there. I mean, buyers are hungry out there. And so, wow, quite the results. I'm looking for it on Lead Engine right now in KV Core.
Marketplace.
What is it?
So go to Marketplace.
Okay.
And then I've got them 3 across. So it's the 7th one in, the 7th tile in. It's green. It says Core Property Boost.
Core Property Boost. Thrill your sellers and get more leads from your listings. Cool.
So it just takes one of your listings and then just advertises the hell out of it for you?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Although I did somebody else's listing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So my response, people have asked me that before to use my listings. And my response is always the same. I say, you may advertise my listing. You may not kind of portray it as your own listing. Okay. That's the only thing that I won't allow. So here's a property offered by eXp Realty. Here's a property, whatever. Like that's fine. But the only thing that bothers me, and I've seen people use my photos and my marketing off the MLS, and they say, "Hey, we have a new listing in Coy Lake Isles," and blah 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 blah. And anyway, so that's always my answer, just so you know. But I don't have any. I have one vacant land listing. Otherwise, you guys can use them. So
actually, if you turn on screen share, I just brought up the results. I've got it all up here.
Can I?
Because it doesn't actually show me what the
How do I
ad
do
looks
it
like.
For you?
Oh, there we go. Nice, let me do it.
Joe, how did you find it? Through Enterprise?
Okay, so
I think it was Marketplace.
It's on KV Core.
Oh.
Marketplace.
Get rid of this. There we go. Okay, so this is what the ad. So I ran one ad. I got 962 impressions from the one ad. So I guess 962 people saw it. 22 people actually clicked on it, and then 10 people clicked through to my website. So it cost me $4.50 a lead.
Yeah, yeah. That's great results. I love it.
It's this one right here.
Yeah. Core Property Boost. Great.
Obviously results may vary. I feel like I got lucky, especially with the cash buyer. But you know,
if you got 2 appointments off of $45 in ad spend, that's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Keep doing it. Keep going.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely intend to try that again.
Cool. Very nice. Very nice. I think we're all set on the video. Is everybody here doing the video? Laura,
Me.
Adriana,
Need to pay you.
you need to pay. Nick, you sent money, right?
Yeah, I sent it to the Venmo account.
Yep, all good.
Did you send us
I
an
sent mine
email?
to Jenna.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you send an email with the Venmo in it?
It was in the post.
On Workplace? Oh, all right, I'll go find it.
Yeah, it was in the post. I don't know that I have an update on that other than everything's just the same. I need to do some writing myself. I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts or ideas about that?
Do you have any questions that we know that are going to be asked, so we can kind of start brainstorming how we want to answer them, or are we kind of
Sure.
just giving them our own
why
script?
don't we just workshop that right now? Why don't we do some of this? So like, you know, like Nick, what do you love about real estate? What do you love about being a realtor? Like it's general, and you're gonna have to take it, right? Take it somewhere.
Okay.
So I would say that's one of the questions. What's going on in the Tampa market right now?
Houses are getting listed and going pending in 1 or 2 days.
Right.
Like they're going fast, because we're in the process of looking right now, and we are gonna go set up appointments tomorrow on 2 of them, and then they're already pending.
Yeah.
And it changed from yesterday at 6:00 p.m. till I think I looked like an hour ago.
Yeah.
So
there's no inventory,
good,
guys.
really good for sellers right now.
Yeah, really good for agents that list sellers. Go get listings.
Seller's market.
Oh yeah, it's a seller's market. So
That could be one of our answers.
Yep. No, I mean, Tampa Bay continues to be a huge destination for people. Now, if this was my video, I don't know how you want things to be evergreen. So I don't know if I want to talk about COVID and then you're kind of dating the video, but because more people are working from home, are working on Zoom, things like that. A lot of people are able to work and live, and hence live where they want, right? Think of my client that just moved to Fishhawk, the agent that I paid a referral. She still works for a real estate team in Utah. She hasn't been in the office since March, and since everybody saw that she's doing her job just as well, she was able to move and live near her grandkids, which is where she wanted to live. So I think that's what's happening in our market. That's part of it. So
you were saying she lives here now, but she's a Utah agent. That's super cool.
So I think she starts work at 10 or 11 and then works till 7. So she has to adjust her hours, of course, for her team leader guy. But yeah.
That's cool.
So, and that's not the first time that's happened this fall for us. There's other examples of that as well for people who just very similarly used to go into the office every day, and now that they don't have to, they moved. So
we have 4 members of my extended corporate team. There's 2 in New York, 1 in Ohio, and 1 in Kentucky that moved out of state to be closer to their families now that we're working from home indefinitely.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I wonder if it could either benefit or if it could hurt any market, right? Well, it certainly doesn't hurt the real estate market if people are moving, but if people would be moving out of somewhere. But Florida just remains a destination, a place where people want to come, and so I think it's helped us. So what other things? I mean, you can talk about the overall market, talk about like almost your elevator pitch, right? So what's your what's your philosophy with working with buyers? Now, you guys are really pretty new, so I know I'm saying these things out loud and you probably never thought about them, but like what's your, like, are you, like, I would say that my wife and I, when we're meeting with clients, what we say is that we're looking for good partners, right? Like, this is not a dictatorship. This is not about me telling you how to buy a house. You are going to drive the boat, and I'm going to make sure you don't crash along the way. Okay. This is a partnership. So I'm going to ask questions and give you options and make sure you have all the information. If you want my opinion on what I would do or what my other clients typically do, I will tell you those things. And you know, we're gonna push as hard as you want to push, but you have to feel comfortable and make all the decisions along the way. This is not about me, but this is the space that I work in every day. So let's help you get to your goals. Like, that's kind of my philosophy. Now, other agents, I know for a fact, they like to bulldog every deal, and they will negotiate for their clients. They will not present counter offers. They will simply do it on their own. So there are different, you know, and whether that's ethical or not, that's open ended. But I mean, so some of that I'd say is important. Um, Another thing I know that I definitely want to talk about is, like, most of the people, I mean, because of where we live, most of the people that we are working with, um, many of them are move up buyers. So they're buying their second house. So they sell a house and they move up. And many of them want to get into the better school districts, whether that's Brandon or Valrico. Schools are important. So since we have such young school age children, I would say that we, you know, are as close to experts as you can be on kind of the school market, and knowing, kind of knowing what's what, where the boundary lines are, and what could change, and just getting people the information that they want. So I can't give my opinion on schools. That's totally a personal choice. But most of the people that we work with, schools are really important. So what else would I talk about? Is this helping, Nick, or not?
It is. It's just you have X amount of experience, so you have a lot of stuff to go on.
I have content.
And I don't want to pitch a video. Hey, I'm brand new.
Right.
Let me list your
No.
house. I've never done it before.
You're probably going to need to prepare like 5 times more than I am. Like, really.
Yeah.
You're like, I can just talk, right? You're just going to have to, and I do want to prepare. I'm not saying that I don't. I want to have down what I want to say. I want to practice with my wife and all that stuff. But you know, you're just going to have, and you're going to have to take, so I would, and again, I think, you know, you and I have talked about this a little bit, but like, who are you getting, that are podcasting in your ears? Like, are you listening to enough real estate content on a daily basis right now? Are you listening to enough YouTube, EXP trainings, podcasts? Like, are you inundating yourself with stuff like that? What are you listening to on your drive to work, Laura? Right? Because I know when I was getting my license, and I had a hotel job that I hated, and that's a million stories. But and I was getting my license, and I was listening to The Millionaire Real Estate Agent on the car to and from work, and it was a light switch moment for me. I'm like, you know, I think one of the biggest things, Nick and I just attended a little training on, we did a training on Mojo, which is a system I use, and Nick's shown some interest in. Is what's apparent to me is the guys doing the training, and what I always understand after I go to these trainings, whether they were in person or on these Zoom calls, like, it's just not about you. These guys that do 100, and maybe the guy today did 130 deals a year or whatever, it's just, he talks about his schedule. He talks about his team, his systems, but he doesn't talk about his limitations. He doesn't talk about his fear or his, like, if he wants to make more money, he just needs to get more data, and he needs to call longer, add another hour to his schedule, add add an employee to his team, whatever it is. It's just about putting the right mix in there and creating a plan around that. And I think, and this is me included, I'm talking to myself here, but we put ourselves so much in the middle of this, and all of our emotions and all the limitations that come with it, that we're really just holding ourselves back. So that's kind of what I took out of today's training. I don't know, Nick, you're welcome to speak on it, what you kind of heard and saw. I have some opinions about who was doing the training. I was really there. I wanted to hear James talk more, but Colton Lindsay has a way of kind of taking over some of these things and making it largely about him and his ego. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, but that was just my thought. But
No, I liked his energy because I've never listened to the guy speak before, so I didn't really know what. Yeah, Colton. So I never really knew what I was going to be watching, but that other guy, that guy's what, only like 33 years old, and this dude's doing over $1 million a year.
1.2 million in total revenue. So that's $1 million in gross commission income, and then he's got some other things going, rental properties and things like that. Yeah. And and you heard Colton in 2000, what was it? In 2014 or 2015, he was living in a trailer, and he saw Colton's videos on Calling with Mojo, and he drove up to Utah to coach with them for a week. And then he drove back, and then he did $200,000 or $300,000 his first year. So,
yeah. So I signed up for his one-on-one 45-minute call, and you answer a bunch of questions. So they give you gives him a gauge of like how long you've been in the business, where you're at, things you're struggling with, and he says it's either with him or as an assistant. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be the assistant, but just kind of talking to somebody else, because I've kind of prided myself of not talking to people and avoiding them, and now I'm in a completely different business of where I need to get out there, and I'm not the most comfortable with that. And like, I've done some calls with Doug, and I've done some on my own, and I'm not the most comfortable with it. And I think it's something that I just need to keep going, because when you look at all these guys like Ricky, him, the other dude, like, they're all calling people 2 hours a day at a minimum. And then that's what they do. Doug's harped on this plenty of times. You talk to 20 people a day, you're going to sell 20 houses, no problem. So it's just actually getting out there and doing it. And I need to
getting over your fear.
Do better with it.
Getting over your
the more
fear.
You do it,
like,
and that's often.
It's real. I don't want to minimize what it takes to pick up a phone and call a stranger and try to break down the barrier that naturally exists when a salesperson calls something and you want something from them, right? That exists. There's real fear there. So I would never minimize that, but how badly do you want it? What's going to happen? Go to pain. That's what right? What's going to happen if you don't? Right? What's going to happen if you don't? Where will you be working? If a year from now we're still talking about how Nick is trying to make calls, but he's having call reluctance. What are you going to be doing at that moment? Are you going to be working at a gas station? Are you going to work at a pet store? Do you have other options that I don't know about that could be awesome? I have no idea. Like, where's the pain point? That's what I would ask. Laura, 2 new constructions, like, that sounds awesome. Cool. Keep it up. I'm putting you closing one of those at about 10% and both of them at about 3%. So what's next? Okay. I don't want to discourage you. I'm just saying, like, to have something like that fall in your lap and you're the bartender at the resort, like, I don't I don't know. I hope you prove me wrong. Absolutely I do. But what's next for you? And then what happens? Um, I know you got some things going on and you're working with Ryan. I love that. You got some support, but where are we going? Adriana, I know we've talked about you wanting to quit your job. And I don't know if you felt better or worse after our conversation yesterday, um, or if I just confused things, and I know I don't have the whole picture, but you need a plan, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I certainly do. It stinks because they really have been great. And like you did make some really good points yesterday, but I do want to eventually get to a point where I work for myself and, I have my own business and, I could just focus 100% on real estate. But at the same time, with everything going on, I am very lucky that I do have what I have. A lot of people can't say that, they have that,
Right.
or, there's out there looking for a job. So it is kind of tough for me to just let it go. But like
Right.
you said, like some type of plan, like, I need to make sure I have a closing every month and go from there, like a
Right.
6-month plan or something.
Right. Right. And I'll give you all the credit. You're hustling. Adriana sat in a model home on Sunday. She had zero preparation for that. Nobody trained her. Nobody even told her about it. She just took it because it was an opportunity that she was presented, and she got thrown to the wolves. And so I'll give you all the credit in the world for just, excuse me, doing it. And you didn't know what you didn't know, but like, I mean, I think it's great. So you just you keep taking opportunities. You kind of have some of your strategies for doing that. And I love it. Like, I don't think, from knowing you a little bit, I don't think you're going to get a Mojo account and call for sale by owners. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe that would be maybe I'm wrong, but maybe that would be the thing that if you did do it, you'd be able to quit your job in February, but I'm not really sure. So, um, I don't know if I have a whole overall point. Joe, I think you're doing very well. The one thing I'll say about Joe is Joe called me and asked to be in our mentorship group. I said, no, I'm capped. He told me a little bit about himself. What I'm going to say about Joe is I like people that don't take energy, they give energy, right? Joe has contributed more to our mentorship group than he's taking. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about knowledge and his own energy and his own thoughts and ideas. So everybody here has their strength, but I want to show some appreciation for Joe. He has a different kind of downline mentorship, his sponsorship. So, but I'm glad you're part of our group. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think I told you that. For everybody that doesn't know, I was with a different brokerage for a couple of months before I came to EXP, and I got dug by just sheer accident for being a mentor. And I have a coach who brought me to EXP, and then I have Doug. And between the two of them, they've taken me from basically looking at myself after two and a half months of doing real estate, going, maybe this was a mistake, and I threw all this money away, to suddenly, between the two of them and the ideas, and then from you guys and whatnot, getting to I have a closing on Monday, and then I have a cash. Like I said, I've got my cash one this afternoon, and that's all from, honestly, you guys bouncing things off the two of you. And so, I appreciate the hell out of you.
Yeah. I can't wait till you get the hell out of our group, man. Do 3 transactions. Come on. What's taking you so long? So I don't know where I started that rant, but it was about pain. It was about, and Nick was talking. So I'm sorry if I took you over, Nick, but that's kind of just my thought. And, I just think you can't go as fast as you want to because you feel this lack of knowledge and lack of confidence. And I understand that. at the same time, you do have to be finding these things that you're doing on a daily basis that are building your database and getting you in front of people. So you either are doing those things, or you need to be practicing and getting comfortable with them. Meaning scripts, role play, like whatever it is. So that's what I would say. Nick, you didn't make calls this morning, huh?
Well, I had a MLS class starting at 9.
Oh,
and
did
then
you?
And then I rolled right into that webinar. But I did get contacted last night for that buyer appointment that actually canceled on me on Friday.
Okay.
She was scheduled today, so I have one at 5:30.
That's
That's
awesome.
pretty exciting.
That's
And
awesome. Good for you. Are you ready for
hopefully
that? Is there anything that you want to ask the group about that? What could this person ask that would make you nervous?
You
First of
and I
all,
talked to,
tell us where it came from. Sorry. Back up just a little bit. Who is this person?
so I served with her in the military. We were stationed together at Moody, and God, so how did it start? So she was it started from Facebook. She was talked about something in Florida, wanting to buy a house, and then she commented on that thread saying that, yeah, I'm looking for information on a VA loan. And one of my friends that found out I just became a real estate agent, because she said it was in Tampa, said, hey, why don't you reach out to Nick? He just got his license. He could probably help you out. And I sent her a Facebook message and whatnot, and now we're meeting today about it. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, that's off of a Facebook business page, kind of how that started.
So did you get her paired with a lender?
So I talked to Todd about it, because he's a VA specialist and that's what she wants to use. And I was trying to figure out where she wanted to meet, because Todd said that I could use that office that we had that mentorship group thing at, but she said that she wants her significant other to be involved in the process. So she said she'd rather just have it at our house. So I was talking to Todd earlier. I haven't heard back from him. I don't know if I want to let him know that or have him call her like right after I'm there type of thing, because I know it's going to be kind of late for him since it's at 5:30, or just have it, and she works. So I'm trying to figure out how to get her. Okay, because I know she's,
just so you know,
talked about it. She's having a problem with her. She thinks she has a credit issue because she's had a divorce. So I want her to get to him as fast as possible. So.
Yeah.
So
I think this is a good appointment for you to go on. I think just the preparation, the mental preparation that you're going to do going into it, even though, you just said credit issue. So for me, I might be like, lender first, but I think you should go on it, build that relationship. Awesome. You need to get in front of people, and you're right. Yes, you need to talk with Todd or any lender as soon as possible to see if you just want to know if she's a real buyer, like how much attention are you giving her? So yeah, that's great. Cool. Well, now you haven't been through the home buying process in Florida. What kind of things do you think you should be sharing with her?
Well, I was going to pretty much structure this meeting more about her and her wants and needs, and then either refer to stuff that I'm trying to put myself in a position where I don't have to say I don't know, or I'll find out type of thing.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Joe about that, and so the majority of this is trying to be steering her, like her wants, where she's looking at, how far from work, that type of stuff, and then getting her to get qualified, and then me giving her the resources to make sure that by the beginning of the year she will be ready to buy. And whatnot. Yeah,
cool. So you're meeting at her house, does she have a house to sell, or is she renting?
I'm pretty sure she's renting, because she's actually looking to buy.
Yeah, she doesn't need to sell first. Okay, that's cool.
I wish she
Very
had to
good.
sell first because that'd have been easier.
Yeah. That'd be
But
nice.
I know she's buying a starter house, so down the line, I think it could be beneficial as well. Get her in her starter house, and hopefully, 3 years, 4 years, she's ready to
Well,
move
here's
up.
the good thing. You and her are competing for houses.
Yeah.
Maybe you want the same thing. Well, you get to look for free with your client. Very nice. Very nice. Well, cool. I like it. What else, guys? Get me going. Oh, it's about 2 o'clock.
Oh, and then, like, I'm sure it's a really simple answer, but when it comes to like setting up the viewing, you just go on the MLS, find the realtor's number, and is it simple as that?
Okay. So this is first, I'm going to give you information that will not help you because I want to vent. When I sold real estate in North Carolina, part of the MLS dues were that everybody had a scheduler built into their MLS. Okay. So what that meant is if I went and showed buyer, and this was something I really did, I had this buyer from New York, and they took up, they were looking at all these houses. And so we would go see 8 or 9 houses a day, and we're looking at, and so, but then I could go home at night, and some of them they wanted to view again, and some of them they wanted to rule out and rule in. So I could go at 9 o'clock at night, I could hit schedule and send it out into the world. And then by the morning, I could see what got scheduled and what didn't, right? I didn't have to, in our MLS, you have to read the realtor's notes. So they might say use showing time. They might say call showing time. They might say call CSS, which is another scheduler. They might say text the agent, call the agent. They might have you click on the showing time button, but then it says, oops, thanks for registering. Please call the agent. So you just got to figure it out. It's absolutely infuriating when you're trying to schedule lots of showings and not everybody's doing it the same way, and realtors don't answer their phone. So mostly I text. If it's showing time, great, I'll do that. If it says call the showing agent, I'll just send the text with who I am, what time I want to show, what property, and then I can walk away from it and let them go talk to their client, and they can get back to me an hour later. So otherwise, it's phone call, phone call, phone call, phone call. Did that answer your question?
It did. And then I guess the next step is like the process of actually like submitting the offer. So I know a lot of them they want things like through the email with the pre-approval letters and stuff like that. But is there I guess that kind of answers my own question. That's kind of in the remarks as well, but we need to pull like what all needs to be involved in that.
Do I have a buyer contract video that I did and put on Workplace? Does anybody know, Adriana?
A buyer contract. I think you have the video when we went through you know what? I think we went through the seller's disclosure.
No, we did sellers.
Yeah, we did sellers. We may have done buyers, but that was like months ago.
Listing appointment.
Yeah, I don't think
Sorry,
that we
I'm
actually.
looking.
I don't think we actually did the.
Writing a buyer contract.
Yeah.
So how'd you learn how to do it?
Sarah.
What is this one? Listing paperwork video. I never did buyer. Yeah, I never did buyer. All right, I'll have to do that. Yeah, we'll have to work together on it, Nick, once you get there. See if you can find a Florida specific training on contracts and class. That should be, what is it, usually Tuesday after the meeting, so next week. That's usually when they are. or you might be able to find recordings. So Tuesday is about 10:30, right? I think. But
Yeah,
just to
there's
answer your question,
Florida
you're going to need
specific.
an as-is contract. You're going to need a VA addendum. And then you're going to need the disclosures from the listing agent. That's most likely what you're going to need. Seller's property disclosure, HOA disclosure, CDD disclosure if necessary, stuff like that. So
let me ask
but
about
what
that.
you
I've
need to
done.
fill out,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted.
as far as what you need to fill out from scratch, as is purchase contract, VA addendum. I would actually, Nick, print those things out and just start reading. You know, if you haven't really looked at them at all, print them out and just start reading through them. And, you know, if you want to like try to fill it out, find a property, just try to fill it out and see what
get
doesn't
those
make
at the
sense. So,
transaction desk on seller, or does EXP kind of have its own database as well?
I don't think it does. I use Zip Forms Plus. MLS has, what does everybody use? Adriana uses something different than I do, right?
Form Simplicity.
Form Simplicity. So is that free for you?
Yeah.
Because it's through MLS. And then
yeah, so I do
that puts that cool little logo on it too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super easy. I just go through Form Simplicity, do everything in there, and then I download it and then upload it through SkySlope.
You PDF it over to SkySlope so that you can use DigiSign to sign it, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Did you get that, Nick?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see where that Form Simplicity is.
MLS.
DigiSign is actually built into Transaction Desk.
Is
so you
it?
don't have to jump back and forth. Yep.
Is that right? So do you sign in with your like EXP credentials because EXP is providing DigiSign?
No,
Huh?
I paid for it.
You paid for it,
Oops.
right?
Yeah.
I wonder if you, since you have a DigiSign account through SkySlope, if you contacted them, if you could connect them on Transaction Desk.
I'll have to check into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I found the Form Simplicity. So I take that, and then you said send it over to SkySlope, and then start filling it out.
You got to fill it out, find the forms you want, fill them out on there, and then save them and move them into a PDF, and then use DigiSign to sign the paperwork.
Okay.
If you want,
Cool.
send me a buyer's contract and I'll sign it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good. You're probably like your buyer's appointments now, you know, hopefully she's pre-approved and you're looking for the next 2-3 weeks, whatever it is. And then you're writing offers in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, I see this. This is a pretty big priority for you.
Yeah, because I always, since I'm so new, I just been focusing so much on trying to get this lead gen and taking a lot of these classes that really are more for stuff down the line. And I'm just like, well, shit, how do I set up an appointment? How do I write a contract? How do I do all this stuff? And,
Yeah.
But
Right there with
like
you,
you
Nick.
and everybody said, find the lead and then all the other stuff will come. And that's kind of why you're here to help kind of guide us through. And
Right.
hopefully by the third one, we
that's
stop
what I keep
asking you these
saying,
simple
so.
questions. So
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, like with mine, I had my buyer, Sergey. Thank God you guys didn't hear about all that. But I didn't know how to write the contract. And like, I literally was showing him houses and I still didn't know how to write a contract. And then he was like, okay, this is the one I want. Like, let's write a contract like right now. So I was like, oh my God. But literally when you have to learn it, you learn it. Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Joe, what were you gonna say before? And then I need to get off the call.
So do you want to cross it off to where there are no disclosures?
Yes. I mean, it just depends. Yeah, it just depends, and you got to ask for them, and it's annoying. Don't fill them out. Don't fill out the HOA disclosure for the listing agent. They should have that signed by the seller, and they should be able to provide that to you.
Because the one that we just did, for me, it being my first one like this, it made me a little nervous because we're making a $285,000 cash offer on a house. So when I asked her for the disclosure, kind of talked to this lady a little bit, she says,
Right.
well, that the seller's out of town, I'll provide it to you if your offer is accepted. I'm going, it's not really how this is supposed to work.
Yeah, you're kind of at their mercy when you've got the buyer right now. And just remember, you do have a 10-day inspection period. Also, just so you know, this is not typical, but legally in Florida, the agent and the seller do not have to provide that form. That is not necessary to the transaction. They should, and most do, but you can't tell them they have to. It's a courtesy. It doesn't look good, all these things, but and we talked about this, Joe. I think it was her buyer. I think she didn't care enough. So
Probably.
yeah. Yep. But it's nice when the forms are all there. It's nice when you have a question about the HOA or the age of the roof or the AC, and somebody puts all the upgrades from the property that are loaded up into the files. It's great. So,
Well, and that's the contrast is my other one, Lily Esposito. If you ever run across her, she's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
She even, I think about the third or fourth day in after it had been accepted, and I don't know what I said, but I said something. She goes, how long have you been doing this? Since my first one. She goes, oh, okay. And so she's actually explained several things along the way as we went, when she would send me stuff and say, okay, this is why you need it. So she's been really cool.
Yeah. Yep. You have a mutual interest, so she should be helping you. Now, when I'm negotiating against you, I'm going to do everything I can to expose that and try to get my client everything that they want. And then after that, I'm going to make sure we get to a closing table. Like, I'm not going to be a jerk the whole time, but if I think you're green, then I don't know. It's not like I can swing a huge hammer, but I'm just saying, but yeah, you help new agents get through it, and you can usually tell. So all good. All right, I'm gonna go. Let me know what you need, and let's all do a little bit of writing. I need to do that. Let's try to get those questions down. Maybe I'll think about them and post them and all that stuff. And but you guys are going to need content to fill 90 seconds. We all are. So, all right. See ya.